It was a cold night when Michael was sitting alone in the living room, staring blankly at the flickering light of the lamp. The house felt emptier than ever, and every creak of the floorboards made him tense up. He had been waiting, silently, for hours. His mind was replaying the same argument he had with Sarah, his wife, from the evening before. Their marriage had been on the rocks for months, but tonight had taken a turn that neither of them could have anticipated. Around midnight, the front door creaked open. Sarah stepped in, her heels clicking softly on the wooden floor. She looked tired, her makeup smudged slightly, and there was a sense of defiance in her eyes. "Be grateful I even came back," she said with a tone that was sharp and almost mocking. Michael turned slowly, his expression unreadable. The anger and disappointment that had been brewing for months were now visible on his face. "Then pack your things and leave," he replied calmly, almost chillingly. Sarah froze for a moment, caught off guard by the unexpected calmness in his voice. She had anticipated begging, arguing, or pleading, but Michael's words left her speechless. She had come back thinking that she could assert control over the situation, but the balance of power had shifted. Michael's voice remained steady, though inside he was a whirlwind of emotions, pain, betrayal, and exhaustion. Over the next few hours, the tension between them was palpable. Michael went to the kitchen and made himself a cup of tea, while Sarah sat silently on the couch, avoiding his gaze. Memories of their past played like a silent film in Michael's mind. He remembered when they first met, how Sarah's laughter had filled his heart with joy, and how her smile had been enough to make every bad day disappear. But over time, things had changed. Arguments became more frequent, trust eroded, and the warmth they once shared had turned into cold distance. "Michael, can we talk?" Sarah finally whispered, her voice barely audible. He didn't turn around, continuing to sip his tea. The silence in the room grew heavier, almost suffocating. "There's nothing left to talk about, Sarah," he said eventually. "You've made your choices, and I've made mine. It's time to accept that some things can't be fixed." Tears welled up in Sarah's eyes, but she refused to let them fall. She had always prided herself on her control, and tonight was no different. I just thought. I thought you would understand," she murmured, her voice breaking slightly. Michael set down his cup and looked at her, really looked at her, as if seeing her for the first time in months. He saw the fear, the regret, and the stubborn pride that had both drawn him to her and driven them apart. "I did understand, Sarah," he said softly. "I understood what you were doing, and I also understood that I can't live like this anymore. I've been patient, I've tried, but there's a limit to what one person can endure. Love doesn't mean accepting betrayal or constant disrespect. I loved you, but love also requires respect, honesty, and trust." Sarah looked down, the weight of his words pressing on her. She had underestimated him, thought that she could manipulate him with guilt and charm, but Michael had reached a point of clarity. He had realized that a relationship without respect and mutual care was not worth clinging to. "I never wanted it to end like this," she admitted finally, her voice trembling. Michael nodded. He had heard it all before, and he knew that words without action were meaningless. He walked to the bedroom and gestured toward the suitcase she had left unpacked in the corner. "It's time," he said. Sarah gathered her things, her movements slow and deliberate, as if each step away from him was a battle with her own pride. As she stepped out of the door, Michael felt a strange mixture of relief and sorrow. Their love story, which had started with passion and laughter, had ended in quiet resignation. But there was a sense of freedom too, a realization that sometimes the hardest choices were the ones that led to healing. Days turned into weeks, and Michael focused on rebuilding his life. He spent time with friends, pursued hobbies he had neglected, and slowly, the weight of the past began to lift. He didn't harbor anger anymore, only lessons learned and a newfound strength. Sarah, on her part, realized the consequences of her actions, but life had moved on. One evening, Michael received a message from an old friend inviting him to a small gathering. Reluctantly, he agreed to go. There, he met people who were kind, honest, and genuinely interested in his well-being. He laughed, shared stories, and for the first time in months, felt truly alive again. It was a reminder that life was not defined by a single chapter but by the entirety of experiences, both bitter and sweet. He learned that letting go was not a sign of weakness but of courage. Holding on to something toxic only delayed growth and happiness. Michael understood that self-respect and personal boundaries were vital in any relationship. Forgiveness and love could exist, but they could not survive without trust and mutual care. As the sun set over the city one evening, Michael sat by the window, reflecting on everything that had happened. He felt a calm he hadn't known in a long time. Life, with all its unexpected twists, had taught him resilience, patience, and the importance of valuing oneself above all, and so, the story of Michael and Sarah became a testament to the idea that endings could be new beginnings. That walking away from what harms you is sometimes the bravest act of love, love for oneself. If you enjoyed this story, share it with your friends and family, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more engaging stories. True love is built on trust, respect, and honesty. When these are absent, the bravest act can be letting go and choosing to prioritize your own well-being. Life is too precious to remain in relationships that diminish you rather than uplift you.